What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? NoZoupForYou here, and once again, we're going to talk about submarines. And the reason for that is because we've got another round of testing going on right here. So hopefully, if you were looking forward to getting into the testing, you were actually able to this time. And to my surprise, after I rushed home and I was able to log on, I found out that I didn't have to go through everything over again to get to submarines. I didn't have to get that 10,000 base XP or whatever it was in the other ships. My submarines were right there waiting in port for me. So I jumped into one right away and I started to play. First though, there have been some pretty significant changes moving into this second round of the beta test. The first thing that has been changed, the interaction between destroyers and submarines have been reworked. And I'm very thankful for this, because I thought in the original iteration, the first part of the beta test, it was just kind of dull. I didn't like this whole chasing circles and then your depth charges automatically popped out. In many ways it was easy mode, it just wasn't really that interactive. That is gone now. Your depth charges are manual. They're an actual consumable now, and you have to press G when you get close to a submarine. This is cool. I think this is a worthy change right now, and I'm very happy they went with this. Also, because of that, there's a new consumable for submarines called Maximum Depth. This just means that your submarine does a deep dive. If a destroyer's coming and starts popping off depth charges, you can punch this and your submarine will dive deeper so that the depth charges hopefully won't reach you. Now this is a very slow reloading consumable, which makes sense. They don't want you to be able to use this every so often. Even more so because sometimes it's hard for destroyers to catch up to submarines and actually use their depth charges. So, good change there. Another thing that's happened is rebalanced submarine torpedoes. They found in the last iteration that when you had a double lock on a battleship, it did way too much damage with its double citadels, and just dumbfiring the torpedoes didn't do quite enough damage. So they've tweaked both of those. Double locks now don't do quite as much damage, and the dumbfire torpedoes or single lock torpedoes now do a little more damage. This I'm happy with. Also, another thing this round, you can now fire torpedoes out your butt. Yeah, exactly. Some torpedoes in World War II did have that capability, and now you have that capability in this game. So what do I think of the changes right now? What do I think? Well, after rushing home and logging on for a game, I was in a virtual snooze fest in which it was kind of boring. The round I was in was kind of boring. It took me a little while to figure out the pings because they changed everything around. Now you actually have to press the 2 key to ping an enemy ship. And I lost some valuable time figuring that out, and I was unable to get the locks I needed to. You still have issues trying to nail destroyers with torpedoes because they're still very fast. It's hard to do. On the bright side now, you can lock onto enemy submarines. So if they're in the area on the surface, you can fire torps at them and you can ping them, and you can do the same thing that you can against other ships. Once again though, they're able to dive pretty quick and get out of the way of your torpedoes. So if you actually land those on an enemy submarine, it's pretty gratifying because it's really, really hard to do. So once again, talking about the changes, I don't want to make you think with the depth charges that you don't have the circles anymore. You still have that whole target thing, but that just means once you get in there, you actually have to interact. You actually have to press that G key. The whole firing out your butt of your submarine, that adds a new dimension that I really, really like. The deep dive, yeah, I can see where that can come in handy. That's an interesting addition. I kind of like that. The only thing I really don't like right now is I don't like the change to the ping. I'd rather just fire my torpedoes and be able to left click and the ping goes out. Having to press that 2 button, you know, I'll probably grow used to it in the future. I'm probably complaining about something that doesn't need to be complained about. So, you know what? I kind of take it back. It's not a big issue right now. We'll get used to it. I'll get used to it, and we'll go from there. The only other big thing I'm having issues with now, and I don't like, it gets boring in the late rounds, especially if there's only submarines left. Sub-on-sub fights are still dull, although I've seen some exciting ones out there, but for the most part, if you're spread across the map and there's few ships left, it turns into a snooze fest. You're just waiting to run out the time, and it doesn't make for very exciting gameplay. Of course, part of that might be because you're playing against a bunch of bots. I would imagine, hopefully, that if you've got 12v12 in a regular random battle, things might go a little quicker because you've got all human players, and hopefully the majority of them are smarter than a computer AI player. History has proven that's not always the case, but I'm thinking things will move a little quicker in those instances. Still too early to tell how the impact of submarines are going to be overall in the game. Just wanted to provide you with this news. And once again, unfortunately, we've got weird hours for this testing. You know, I got home, I was all excited because I found out that day that we were sub-testing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to get in a bunch of rounds before I got to get ready to drive out to Battle Assembly in New York tomorrow. I log in, I play one round, I don't land a single torpedo hit, not one, have a boring time because things got really slow towards the end, and all of a sudden I'm trying to log into another game and I want to play Destroyer, and guess what? I can't get in for some reason, and it boots me, and I'm like, what's going on here? Why am I disconnected? And then it dawns on me. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Guess what? Testing's over for East Coast in America. Yeah, right about the time that everyone and their dog is getting off work, this ends. So really, the only people that are going to benefit from this are the people in Europe right now. Europe, hey, congrats. Guess what? You can test this a lot more than we can, because when this test is going on for us, we're working. I'm gone this weekend, so I'm not going to be able to play. From what I saw so far in the round I played, I like the changes. From what I've read also, I think these are great changes. These are needed changes, and you know, we'll go forward from here. We'll see some more changes, but once again, I think submarines have some potential, and it's going to be exciting to see how things evolve. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Zoop out.